we just can't seem to find anywhere that will give us water.
This is the first place that we have come to that I'm actually not familiar with at all.
The inlet we're going into is super narrow. We weren't gonna try to come here on our own, and here we are. So Dad's gonna come out in the dinghy and give us some tips and help us out.
Yeah, I may totally back out and just take off, so just be prepared for that as well.
But for whatever reason, that situation just freaked me out a lot. It was just really stressful. I'm Kate, and this is my husband Mick. Our kids, Thomas and Bentley, and my parents, Kevin and Shawna. We are 3 generations coming together to create the Cruising Meraki Project. By the sea, silver caps the ocean. We'll be sailing free. I don't know this notion, but I know it to be true. I just can't stop singing. Oh, how baby I love So as you know, we've been having some water problems. We just can't seem to find anywhere that will give us water because everyone's on water restrictions already this early in July, which is really crazy.
The fuel dock at Salt Springs on stage 3 restrictions, and if we get fuel, they'll give us 50 litres, which is something. That's great.
Yeah, we don't need fuel.
No, we don't. We do need it to fill our jerry cans for our dinghy, but I don't know if that's enough. I mean, that's amazing they'll even offer us that. If they're on restrictions, I would be saying no to any cruises and just be looking after the local people. We might have to get back to the mainland soon.
We talked to Mom and Dad, and they came over with their boat and filled up both their water tanks so that they can empty one into ours. Which is awesome because I don't know what we would have done. Great news, and they've just arrived, rafted up next to us. We'll wake up a little bit and then we'll do the transfer. Good morning. How are you?
I'm so excited.
Aww. This is how we do water delivery.
Yes, exactly.
We are ready for water.
We brought you fresh Vancouver Island water.
Thank goodness. Oh my gosh, I can't even see the bottom of our water. Oh, it's there.
It's down to that line.
So what would you say that's about?
That's probably like at least 20.
Oh, okay.
I'd say it's about 20.
Well, we've got dishes piling up and we're on tight water restrictions. No, we still have a fair bit, but we do have dishes piling up just so we don't waste water. So it's a good thing Mom and Dad are here.
Now we're gonna transfer some water from the tanker Masuda to Meraki 1. Are you ready for this? Right.
So what about your water pump? Are we concerned about it burning out?
No, it's a pretty big one, so it should be fine. We'll maybe give it a breather halfway through or something. But...
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that was hard work.
Well done.
Here we go.
Beautiful! We have water, people! Thank you for bringing us water, guys!
Hey, it's our pleasure.
Did I mention it was 75 cents a gallon?
Oh, no, I hadn't heard that. So we're gonna leave the boys to fill the water tanks, and Mom and I are going provisioning.
Provisioning.
You're going with us.
Groceries!
Have you got a request? Any requests?
What'd you call? Cheese balls?
Cheese balls! You're nuts! How's it going?
Good, it's filling up awesome.
As it does. Woohoo! Masuda Water Services.
Yeah, easy does it.
We'll have enough water now to make it to Nanaimo, which is really like the second biggest city on the island, on Vancouver Island. So we shouldn't have any problem getting water there.
No.
And we'll make it there no problem now, so
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go shopping with Mom now. Alright, well, we're all cleaned up, the boat's tidy, fridges are full, groceries are put away, the freezer is full. We're testing out our Dometic Fridge as a freezer. We're just not sure how much power it uses. So we're gonna test it out today because it's a good sunny day. It's going to have to take everything that's in there and freeze it first, so that we expect will use quite a bit of power. But then once it's frozen, our hope is that it's doable and our batteries can keep up with it, because that would be awesome. Then we would have our bar fridge, which is a super steady 12-volt fridge, keeps temperature really even, so it's perfect for vegetables and more perishable items. And then we have our counter fridge, which is original to the boat, and it's not super reliable, and it sucks a lot of power, so we actually turn that off at night. So we just put stuff in there like drinks and condiments and things that don't have to stay really, really cold. If we can get the Dometic to be a freezer, then we'd like have it exactly how we imagined having it. It's a ton of fridge space. Pretty happy. Okay. Hey. I think we're pretty much ready to go. So his water tank was leaking, and that's why we didn't get a full tank.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we didn't get as much water from Mom and Dad as they thought they'd be able to give us, because we ran one of their tanks dry and our tank wasn't full, which doesn't make sense because their tanks, they have 2 tanks and each one is bigger than our 1 tank. Their hose line going to their bathroom sink had a leak in it that Bentley just found. Noticed there was a little puddle, so that would have been happening since yesterday. Just a pretty steady leak, which means we didn't get a full tank of water, and that's okay. We got enough. We just have to be careful now until we get to Nanaimo.
For sure. Yeah, we'll be okay. Okay, I'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Away we go.
Let the water in the boat.
Why?
Because I'm moving the steering wheel.
And what happens when you move the steering wheel?
Water pumps into the boat. Not sure exactly how, but there's a bit of material missing somewhere, or there's not quite a tight fitting somewhere. But it's only a little bit, and we've got pumps on down there, and it only happens when we're moving, so I'll fix it later. You actually hear it?
Yeah. So tell me what's going on. Who are you talking to?
My brother.
Where's your brother?
Back there.
What's he doing back there? Is he in the
Should
water?
be ahead of us, hopefully.
What?
They should be ahead of us.
Oh, they left before us?
Yeah, they had to leave first because we were the anchor. That's
Are
cool.
you at the top, Bentley? Yeah, I can hear you.
There isn't much wind today, but we're making the beautiful trek between Prevost Island and Salt Spring Island towards Galliano Island, where we will anchor tucked behind Parker Island in Montague Harbor.
Drifting in between darkness and kerosene, the storm made quick work, the power that...
This is the first place that we have come to that I'm actually not familiar with at all.
We came here camping, but obviously that's not in a boat. So we're thinking we might raft up to Mom and Dad. They're here already. They left ahead of us, and they're faster than us in their power boat. How do you feel about pulling up next to a boat?
Fine.
Yeah?
I know what's supposed to happen. Whether or not I can make the boat do that.
You said something menacing. We both left it.
We are going straight forward into the Masuda, about to hit it. Never mind, we're moving right, or starboard, whatever you want to call it.
Nice job.
Looking good, skipper.
You got it.
Good job, Mick.
Just a pro, eh?
Are we rolling? I'm rolling. This is our Dometic portable fridge / freezer. So we just went shopping, loaded it full of meat and bread, and it's now been running constantly for 4 hours. And it's, according to the thermostat on the actual freezer, it is -8. Inside it's like -4. And so we're just hoping that it can freeze things. And then
before the sun goes down.
Before the sun goes down, because we're running off solar. And just so everybody knows, we have 650 amp hours of batteries. We have 800 watts of solar. We have a fridge in the kitchen running in the counter. We have another bar fridge running. We have everything charging, and this freezer's been constantly going for 4 hours. And our charge controller is, I can't see because I have my sunglasses on. It's in float mode, so it's not even trying, and it's only pulling in 150 watts of 800. We have fridges, we have lights through the whole boat, and we have power to charge laptops and iPads and phones, and like, I don't know what else you need really. And what we have, which is 6 golf cart batteries, and the 800 watts of solar, is just doing brilliant.
I will be so excited if this freezer works out, because it just gives us so much more freedom. Like, you have your vegetable meals early because all our vegetables are in the 12-volt bar fridge. And so you just have your vegetable meals, but you'll always have meat, even if you don't catch any fish.
What? If you don't catch any fish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can store meat for so long in the freezer, months.
Yeah.
It's a test.
Mm-hmm.
It's a test.
Going for kayak.
Okay, bye. We figured while we are all together, we should probably take the boat out and actually sail together. So that was the plan for this afternoon. It was light winds, but we just wanted to get out there, get the sails up, and have a good time. Funny. What time is it? 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm just prepping the boat for tomorrow. We are leaving Galliano Island and going to Wallis Island.
And it's about an hour and a half if we motored.
Yeah, so an hour and a half at 5 knots, so it's like 8 nautical miles. But I'd like to try and sail the whole way.
And for some reason I got inspired to make a sign with our boat's name on it. There's a tradition on Wallis Island, there's a little cabin, and people leave their boat's name in some fashion in the cabin. And it's really cute because the whole cabin is covered in old floats and just creative ways of people leaving their boat's name. So I got inspired to put my headlamp on and paint a little sign that we'll hang up at Wallis while we're there. And the coolest thing is, 2 years ago when we were at Wallis Island with Mom and Dad, that was where we picked the name Meraki. The name means to do something with creativity, passion, and love. And it's kind of that name, the Meraki Project, everything has kind of carried us through the last 2 years of getting to where we are. So in a way, going back to Wallis feels very full circle. And I'm really excited. It'll be so fun to go hang up the sign. Good morning, neighbors.
Hi, honey.
Morning.
We've gone from being roommates to neighbors.
Isn't this a great way to be roommates? I love it.
Good morning.
Hello.
There's a lot of float planes and little planes flying over us. We have to keep stopping. Okay, well, we are going to sail today to Wallis Island. It's not very far from where we are on Galliano, but we just want to get all 3 of our sails up.
Yeah.
So we have our main sail, then we have 2 forward sails.
One's a stay sail and then the front jib.
is something we need. It's a leap of faith, a step away from the comfort zone and be a little brave. So take a look around you. How far can you see? How far do you think you can run? Standing on
Hey, we're sailing.
How fast are we going?
beautiful world out there.
0 knots.
Just don't pass on the
Try to
dead.
keep up with us if you
You have
can.
the will and a moment
We're
to
pretty
spare.
speedy.
Beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there.
What's our speed?
4 knots.
4 knots. Pretty good. On a day that we get 4 knots out of Swan, we were ecstatic.
Yeah.
And this is just like an easy 4 knots for this boat.
Yeah.
Go. It's a beautiful world out there. Just don't pass on the dare. If you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there. Oh, it's a beautiful world out there. Just don't pass on the dare. If you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there. Oh, if you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there.
Those folks have the right idea. Flying their spinnaker. We just don't know how to do that. Yet.
My goodness, this is peaceful. I like everything happening so much slower. Just more in
Says
tune.
the race car driver.
Yeah.
It is really nice. Very chill.
It is very chill.
We
Everything-
have way more shade on this boat than I expected.
Yeah, I know. These solar panels.
They're really good shade. I was really worried not having a bimini, but until it starts to rain, we're okay.
Oh.
There is Wallace Island. That's where we're going. So the inlet we're going into is super narrow. We weren't gonna try to come here on our own because Mick felt worried about stern tying and everything and trying to reverse this boat we're still getting the hang of. And here we are. And Dad wants us to throw down an extra anchor, which means we can't just raft up. Well, like, we're still gonna raft up, but we have to put our anchor down in reverse. So Dad's gonna come out in the dinghy and give us some tips and help us out, because they're here already.
Welcome to Mick's schooling lesson on what has happened. The following clip is a fallout of what happened.
Mick and I just need to get better at communicating before we get to a place. Also having a backup plan, because I was like, okay, well, if we don't stay here, what's our backup plan? Like, I don't even know what's nearby.
We had a couple cameras set up. I think the one that was on me, something happened to it, so we only got the one forward. It definitely doesn't come out as dramatic as it was in the situation at the time. It was pretty stressful for both of us, and I'm going to try and explain that to you now. We'd left Montague Harbour and then come into this tight anchorage. It's kind of just like a little cove, Princess Cove. The boats will come in and they'll anchor and then reverse up and then stern tie to the rocks. So you'll have a boat like there and here and here. Now we came in from this direction and the wind was just howling down, and our plan was to raft up to Masuda, which means that our boat had to come in and just basically do that. That is very easy to do with a Crayola, but in reality it was actually quite difficult. So we came in and pointed the bow into the wind slightly and we dropped the anchor. I think it was about here. So then we had to reverse back to Masuda. So one thing we don't have pictured is all the other boats here. I think there was probably like one there, and then there was 3 rafted up here. And also a bunch of boats down this direction. The keel starts around midship and that's kind of the pivot point. So any wind that comes, the boat doesn't go like this, it instantly flips on the pivot point. So what we're having a hard time doing was, as we were backing up and the wind was howling down this direction, the nose of the boat kept flipping around like that. Reverse pulls the stern to starboard, which then exaggerates that motion of the boat. So every time we reversed, it pushes around. So with the wind, it just kept pivoting that way. Now the only way for me to correct that is to put it in forward gear and then full steering lock to starboard, which then points it back, and then we'd reverse a bit more and the wind would push it, finding ourselves in this motion like this. In theory, once we dropped that anchor and had that chain along the ground, as the bow swung, it should have caught that, and then the boat would have steadied for us to reverse back. Hard to know where that stopping point on the anchor is going to be, yeah, and to trust it. So it was a lot of backwards and forwards. And another thing that was happening while all that was going on and we were trying to back up is Masuda actually dragged down anchor due to the high winds. So we were dealing with a moving Masuda and as we were trying to back down. But we eventually did make it. Kevin was in the dinghy helping us out, guiding us. I think he pushed us a couple of times as well, just as the bow started getting around. And we did make it in the end. Yeah, in the end it was worth it, and it was a really good learning opportunity for us.
Hi.
Hey.
I already actually put some vodka in here, and I'm putting more in now.
You doing okay?
Okay, that was stressful.
Yeah.
I just don't, I think, like, truly, I just don't want you to be uncomfortable. When you're uncomfortable, I get really nervous. I know this about me. I'm quite nervous on the water, and I think I've said this before. Swan definitely exaggerated that uneasiness because it was such a little boat and I never felt safe on it. We had a lot of really fun days, but there was a couple of days where the wind was bigger and the sea state was bigger and I was really nervous, and I was like, oh my god, if this is sailing, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. I am so relieved about this boat, how safe I feel on it. I don't have any qualms like sailing it or anything like at all, so I'm very thankful for that. But I also knew about myself that I have a lot to learn so that I can be more comfortable, and I knew that that is going to be the hardest part for me of us doing this trip. Is just like not being afraid. But I'm really determined to do what we're doing. And I'm determined to get over my fear. But for whatever reason, that situation just freaked me out a lot, and then when Mick is saying he's uncomfortable, it makes it a lot harder for me. The other place we were planning to go tomorrow is really far, so to continue going there today would have been a challenge. For whatever reason, that was just really stressful. And it's fine.
Yeah. We'll get better.
Yeah, and you did a really good job, and Dad, I think, was quite helpful. Even just in the sense of like telling me to let out more anchor because that was holding you back from reversing. And
yeah, definitely wind played a huge part in what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
And I've noticed on this boat that when the nose starts to go of the boat, the bow, when it starts to flick around, there's no stopping that. Like you just got to let it do its thing and turn around. The problem is if it kept going, we would have smashed straight into Masuda.
And it's very narrow in here.
Yeah, it's very narrow. There's a lot of boats, but what we had down was the anchor, and the wind was pushing the nose away, and I was watching it flick around.
But then the anchor would catch it.
Yeah, but the anchor would catch, but I'm like, if it doesn't catch, or where's the catch point, and if it's beyond that, then we've lost control of the boat.
Yeah.
So we had a bit of a hard time figuring out there.
We've just never done that before. We've never put an anchor down and then relied on that being a pivoting point, basically.
Yeah. And reversing towards rocks.
And a boat.
And a boat.
Trying to get next to a boat.
In very, very shallow water. Yeah, I mean, the rocks are what, 10, 20 feet off the back of the boat?
Yeah. Anyway, it's all good. We did a good job. And I have to say, the four of us do work really well together. That was a high stress situation, at least for Mick and I. And the four of us do well together. So it's a good crew, I guess. Now it's time for a drink, and Mom and Dad have so kindly made us lunch, so I'm pretty thankful for that.
You're still a bit shaky?
Yes. Okay, so it's Wallace Island, cabin name drop. Woo! I'm really excited to do this. Like I said earlier, it feels totally full circle. We were on Wallis Island 2 years ago with Mom and Dad when we picked the name Meraki for our boat, for our project, for our inspiration. So here's our little sign. Started it last night. The boys finished it off today. And we're gonna show you the little walk to the cabin. And then you'll see there are so many boat names already hung up there. It's really, really cool. Really represents the whole boating community and how people come together. It's awesome. Burn the ends. This rope's really cheap, so it really lights on fire.
That's cool. The muffin man.
About there?
That's perfect.
What'd you find?
Oh, just some on the ground.
You fixing them?
Yeah.
That's nice of you.
This is where we were 2 years ago when we were talking about this idea of the Meraki Project. We didn't have a name, and Kate said, guys, we've got to come up with a name. So
They say the first thing you should do is pick a date, and we did do that. We picked 2021. We felt it important to have a name for our project, something to drive us forward. And I remember sitting right here Googling what Meraki meant. And it means to do something with creativity, love, and passion. And here we are, full circle.
You leave a little piece of yourself behind.
That's right, you do doing something with so much creativity, love, and passion that you leave a piece of your heart with it. And the Greeks say it, Meraki.